Good morning. I'm Adrian from Realtech, one of your SAP Business One consultant. Thanks for attending this webinar, and I know that you're really excited about this. I have three things that we will talk about today: bank statement automatic matching, managing exceptions, automated generation of SAP Business One transactions. You already probably know that automation is critical to every business. But did you know that on average, a person can manually reconcile less than 10 transactions per minute? We'll now discuss bank statement processing, or BSP in short. It performs transaction automatic matching, designed for businesses that intensively use bank transfer, and lets you automatically create SAP Business One transactions. We also have additional information for those that would want to implement BSP. It requires SAP Business One 9.1 or higher, and at the same time, it will deactivate your manual bank reconciliation. Let me discuss the sample business scenario that we will be using for this demo. It is where Maria creates invoices, send them to the customers, and import the bank statement, as most of the customers do their payment by bank transfer. Bank statement processing, or BSP in short, automates the creation of transactions like incoming and outgoing payments and perform internal and external reconciliation. Let's just say that you are Maria. There are 5 simple steps when using BSP for SAP Business One. Download the bank statement and upload to SAP Business One. Let the system do the amazing transaction matching, manage exceptions, and then finalize the bank recon. I'm now showing you a sample bank statement file. The window shown on the screen will tell you whether you have uploaded the bank statement file successfully. I will now access SAP Business One to show you BSP in action. What I'm doing now is uploading the bank statement file to SAP Business One. Based on the bank file that you uploaded to SAP Business One, there is a possibility that you will need to delete excess data on the BSP module. I will now manually delete row number 20 to 25. You also have a feature in BSP to save the bank reconciliation as draft for later processing. You cannot finalize or post a draft bank reconciliation unless you finalize or post the previous one. I will now click the Save as Draft button to save the current bank recon. As you know, SAP Business One has an incredible feature to automatically match the system transactions with the uploaded bank statement. I will show you now how to do a one-click automatic matching. I will now click the Posting Proposal for uncleared rows, then the system will do the automatic transaction matching. For those transactions that were not matched or those that doesn't have a check on the cleared selection column, that's where you will need to come in and do the transaction coding. The transaction on row number 4 shows that Maria have created a transaction on the bank, but not entered any transaction to SAP Business One. SAP Business One can create an outgoing payment to account or to a vendor and at the same time reconcile the transaction with the bank. I will now copy or cut the business partner name and then click on the business partner code, then press Tab. I will sort the listing of business partners by name, then paste the business partner name and then click Choose. I will then select Cleared Selected column, then click Yes to create the outgoing payment on account. The result of this transaction is an outgoing payment to a vendor and bank reconciliation. I will now move to the presentation slides and show you the sample output of this transaction. The next transaction on row number 5 shows that Maria have created a bank transfer and want to record the transaction on SAP Business One, and at the same time do the bank reconciliation. I will now expand the selection, then enter the GL account 161015, where the amount will be transferred, then press Ctrl B on the Applied Amount column to copy the amount, then press Tab. You will see that automatically the system selects the cleared selected column for this transaction. On row number 6, Maria have created an outgoing payment for the salary on SAP Business One and would want to reconcile the transaction with the uploaded bank statement. I will now change the internal operation code column and select Bank Recon. Automatically, the system will look for SAP Business One journal entry that will match the bank statement transaction. The next transaction is row number 8. This is where Maria have created an AP invoice on SAP Business One, but the bank transaction is less than the AP invoice. The AP invoice amount is $3,000. But the bank transaction is only $2,955.84. I will now press Ctrl B on the Applied Amount column to partially match the bank transaction and the AP invoice. The result of this transaction is an outgoing payment, partially paying the AP invoice with internal reconciliation and bank reconciliation. On row number 10, Maria received a customer payment which is less than the AR invoice that she previously created in SAP Business One. The customer payment is $40 and the AR invoice is $900. I will now press Ctrl B on the Applied Amount column to partially match the bank transaction and the AR invoice. The result of this transaction is an incoming payment partially paying the AR invoice with internal reconciliation and bank reconciliation. For the next transaction on row number 11, it shows that the customer payment is more than the AR invoice. The bank transaction is $575. And the AR invoice amount is $500. I will now press Ctrl B on the Applied Amount column to match the bank transaction and the AR invoice amount. As there is an open bank transaction amount of $75, I will then select Cleared Selected column to create an incoming payment on account for the remaining $75. The result of this transaction is an incoming payment fully matched with the AR invoice and an incoming payment on account with internal reconciliation and bank reconciliation. On row number 12, Maria receives a customer payment that can be applied to multiple SAP Business One AR invoices. The bank transaction amount is $1,083.88. I will then select the AR invoices that will match the total customer payment amount. As I select the AR invoice, SAP Business One will show the balance that will need to be matched. The result of this transaction is an incoming payment paying two AR invoices with internal reconciliation and bank reconciliation. The last example on row number 13 is where Maria receives a customer payment that can be applied to multiple SAP Business One transactions like AR invoice and AR credit memo. The bank transaction is $2,300. Another way of doing the matching is by double-clicking on the row, then select the AR invoice and AR credit memo that will match the total customer payment, then click Update button. The result of this transaction is an incoming payment paying an AR invoice and AR credit memo with internal reconciliation and bank reconciliation. As what I've said previously, you can save the transaction as draft for later processing. I will now click Finalize, where SAP Business One will run its cool feature of creating the incoming and outgoing payments and at the same time perform internal reconciliation and bank reconciliation. You will now see on the screen that the bank balance and the GL balance is now tally. Transactions generated by BSP will show on the journal entry column on the screen. You can click the yellow arrow to access the individual transactions. That concludes the SAP Business One live demo. Thank you very much.